It's 10 seconds to midnight. Midnight being tech news. And 10 seconds being right now.
Oh no!
Is it actually 10 seconds to midnight right now? I don't.
We have no time to find out.
Okay, if you've been paying attention to trends in the CPU market, you'll know that it's becoming more and more common to see consumer processors with tons of cores on them, but raw clock speeds just keep getting faster as well. Intel's upcoming high-end Core i9-10900K, not really high, but anyway, set to launch this spring, reportedly has a turbo clock of a whopping 5.1 gigahertz out of the box, according to a leak found on the 3D Mark database, and could go even higher without a manual overclock if good CPU heatsink is paired with it. Although clock speed on its own isn't a great indicator of performance these days, it still might raise a few eyebrows, considering that it wasn't long ago that multi-core designs tended to sacrifice that pure megahertz for thermal management. However, we don't yet know the TDP, so hopefully you won't have to keep your shiny new rig inside of a meat locker.
It's not advisable either way.
I think the meat locker thing is just, it's not going to be enough. Although there were rumors of a new revision of the Nintendo Switch coming this year, and wow, there were rumors of that last year too, an official announcement from Nintendo's CEO has put those rumors to bed. Nighty-night. This might be a little disappointing to Nintendo fans, though from Nintendo's point of view, they simply may not feel compelled to dump time and money into developing a new model. Although the Switch's hardware is considerably weaker than what we'll see in the upcoming PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X, the Switch's appeal isn't based on its graphical capabilities. It's based on its cuteness. Plus, sales of consoles and games are still very strong, so I don't expect them to switch to a much more powerful GPU anytime soon.
Switch!
Yeah.
You get it?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's the game.
Yep, that's the one. Although BlackBerry phones were everywhere in the mid-2000s, especially in the business world, it looks like they're finally going to be put out to pasture quite soon. Although the actual company BlackBerry Limited hasn't actually been making the phones themselves for a long time, BlackBerry branded phones manufactured by TCL are still available. However, TCL just announced that the sales of the BlackBerry devices that they make will end on August 31st. The move isn't too surprising, as the rebranded BlackBerries haven't been selling particularly well and haven't impressed reviewers. Just a little too tart. The brand might live on if it can find another partner to manufacture the phone, and they should still be around in South Asia, where a different company is responsible for production. But if you live anywhere else and really want a fruit-themed phone, well, you might have to bite the bullet and go with Apple.
Oh my gosh. Oh!
And now for the Quackbots, brought to you today by Drop Panda wireless headphones. Sounds great, it's like Drop Bears. They're THX certified and they claim to be the world's most distortion-free wireless headphones. With a closed design to keep your sound contained and THX AAA amplifier technology, you can get closer to your music than ever before. You get 30 hours of wireless life, a detachable gaming microphone, Bluetooth support, and compatibility with popular home assistants. Pre-order now at the link below. Quackity bat bats, bet you can't eat just one.
Take that bet.
If you're tired of sending in your iDevices when they're broken or heading to your nearest Genius bar, Apple is now offering house calls in several major metro areas, including New York, LA, Chicago, Houston, San Francisco, and Dallas. It should be noted that these on-site repairs are being carried out by contractors, and you might have to pay an extra fee. Though for Californians, it may be worth not sitting in traffic, especially if you're going straight up the 5 toward 99 North before hopping on the 110. You know what? I don't know what those numbers mean,
Yeah, that's
but
the worst.
I've been to San Francisco. I don't want to go back. Traffic is just ridiculous.
That's what I'm talking about.
Don't take the 99. Voting in elections over the internet has long been a bit of a pipe dream in most places, but some folks in one U.S. state may get their shot at it for the upcoming presidential election. West Virginia.
Yeah.
West Virginia's governor is expected to sign a bill to compel local authorities to allow voters with disabilities to cast ballots online. Although the state doesn't have tons of time to work out security issues, the limited number of people who will actually vote this way make it a useful litmus test. Maybe people will actually pay attention to the Canadian elections if the tech ever makes it.
Oh,
Canadian elections, no.
Don't remind me.
The Switch has just made Nintendo an extra $260,000. But not in the way you'd think. A hacker who breached Nintendo's servers to download confidential information about the console was fined that amount of money and also faces prison time for both hacking as well as sex crime charges. That's a spicy combo. He was actually caught once and asked not to do it again, because that works, right? But guess what? He started hacking again in 2018, so yeah, maybe don't screw up your second chances you've been given, right? Everybody deserves one.
But hacking's so fun.
I mean, yeah, it kinda is, but you know, you gotta...
Prison isn't.
A startup in Scotland thinks it has an interesting new way to get satellites into orbit. Skyrora not only uses 3D printed rockets for thrust, but also uses rocket fuel made from recycled plastic. How does that work? The engine should be able to get small satellites into low Earth orbit a little over 300 miles above the surface, and promises 45% fewer greenhouse gas emissions than kerosene. So I guess you can say this is all pretty cool? And an artist just pranked some people in Berlin by carrying around 99 smartphones, not Luftballons, that had Google Maps up and running in a little red wagon. With that many phones in one place, on one street at a time, it fooled Google Maps into thinking there was a traffic jam. Google didn't seem upset at all in its official response, and it could actually make a valuable point into how Google can fix its systems to deliver more accurate results. Of course, here in Vancouver, which is one giant perpetual traffic jam, can't confirm, the situation may have made far less of a point.
We live in Canadian hell.
Basically, we're, the Viking hell was Niflheim, and it was supposed to be like just frozen over.
Oh,
That's what Canada is.
Well, yeah.
Well, that's our show. Come on back Wednesday for more free-flowing tech news.
Whatever, dude.
Just let it flow.